guys? Welcome back to the channel. The Saleen showed up. The Saleen Extreme showed up, and it is a super clean, nice car. It's even more than I expected. I bought it just off of pictures and talking to the previous owner and going over some things on the phone. Showed up. Honestly, I'm completely surprised. This thing looks like it's brand new. The cool thing about the Extreme is they get that rear diffuser. You know, of course, the Saleen treatment's all the way around on the whole entire body, synonymous with a Saleen, but the rear diffuser and the carbon front splitter came on the Extremes. Now this car also came with a brand new carbon front splitter in the box, so I'll probably put that on the car. But really, I mean, going through the entire car, that front splitter has some damage to it. Super common for that to happen. But that's about it. This car is flawless and it is beautiful. And they're fast. The cool thing about these cars is they feel like an exotic. This car feels exotic. These seats, the quality of leather, you know, the quality of components that they use building these cars. The entire point behind this, I know it's a Mustang chassis, but this is a Saleen car. They literally changed the entire car. Everything about it is different for it to become a Saleen, especially an Extreme. And this car was kind of built the same era as the Saleen S7, so a lot of the treatments done to the car are Saleen S7-esque, and you know, they did a great job making this car feel like a supercar. This thing is fast. It handles like it's a GT car, not a race car. I mean, I'll go over a comparison between the Roush and this, but this car feels like a GT car. I couldn't believe that they kind of do the same things to the cars. They had superchargers, they changed the interior, they had their suspension, but somehow Saleen made this car feel like a GT car, and Roush made their car feel like a race car. Completely different cars, and I really did not expect that. I had a Saleen before, but I don't remember what it was like, and now I do, and it's like, holy cow, it's amazing what they were able to accomplish with a Ford Mustang chassis. You've got the Saleen gauges, 200-mile-an-hour speedo, a boost gauge. This is the air intake temp for the supercharger. And we can pop the hood. It's a fiberglass hood. So these superchargers are different than like the Roush supercharger. It is a twin screw, but it's inverted. Down here and you can see where the exhaust comes out through the center, but it also comes out right here. We're in the Saleen today, and my initial thoughts about this car is exotic. And I know it's a Mustang, I know it's American made, but this car just feels completely different. These seats are really high quality leather. They wrap around you a little bit more. They're a little bit tighter, more narrow at the hips. They're a little bit more stiff. The car itself just feels more like a GT car, like a European GT car. It's got a 6-speed manual instead of a 5-speed. It does have a short throw shifter, but it's not like the Roush where it's really short and precise and clicky. You know, this is precise, but it just isn't quite the same feeling as the 5-speed and the Roush. What I think is the Roush feels a lot more like a race car. This feels a lot more like a GT car, like a car that you could take on a 500-mile road trip at 120 miles an hour the entire way comfortably. That's what this car feels like. It's just solid, well built. The steering feel is a little bit heavier. The suspension is a little bit different. I really didn't think it would be that much different than the Roush, because they're both, you know, Mustang chassis. But this car, it's really, really interesting to see how they're different and how this car feels. And I really like it. This car is fast. It's got the supercharger, it's got the bigger injectors, and this car just feels really good to drive. I believe it's a 4:10 ratio in the rear, 550 horsepower. The torque comes on really smooth. It's not like a really snappy high torque. This car actually feels a little less torquey than the Roush. I wouldn't say that this feels like a high RPM car either, but I think they had to, you know, the tunes are different, and they definitely had to make sure they tuned this one properly so that it wasn't 500 foot-pounds of torque the second you touch the throttle. So this is a little bit more smooth on power application. It's a little bit more smooth on the suspension. You know, for a daily driver, this would be a lot more comfortable daily driver car. Like I said, for a long trip or something like that, this car would be really comfortable. The superchargers are different as well. This one doesn't quite make as much of a whiny noise as the other supercharged cars I'm used to. The Saleen supercharger is like an inverted twin screw, so I don't know if that helps like deplete some of the noise that you normally hear on the others. The brakes are really good in this car. It's got 6-piston caliper, 15-inch rotors. It's so fun how you can be in like any gear and just get on throttle and you've got that strong boost of torque. So I hooked up a camera at the rear of the car with an external mic right next to the exhaust, and I'm pretty excited to find out how it sounds, because this exhaust in this car really does sound good, especially outside of the car. It is still pretty loud inside, but it's not overly obnoxious. Excited to see what this exhaust sounds like from the back. Hopefully we don't lose the camera. You know, to be able to get an external mic on a GoPro, I had to go all the way back to my GoPro Hero 2, and the second it goes to the Hero 3, you don't get an external mic option. So we're using the Hero 2. Makes this car a lot more fun driving just on a daily basis, and you know, running the grocery store, running to go get gas, running to lunch, things like that. It's not hard to get in and out of. It's, you know, it doesn't give you fits. Sometimes those Lambos, you know, they have their own personality and they have issues, or they give you fits that day and you got to sort through them, kind of like a boat. This is a Mustang, man. You know, just jump in it, turn the key, go. Have some fun. it, guys. A nice little round trip. Real quick in the car, get some audio files. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. These Saleens are super cool. I really like this Extreme. It's a lot of fun. I think I'm going to keep this car for a little while.